Where else are we live?
I don't
Go
know.
live, push the button right there.
But there's two
So confused.
now. Ta-da!
All right.
Ta-da!
Yay. Yay,
And
yay,
I brought my
yay.
iPad in case I need a fourth screen. Is that great?
We should be streaming on LinkedIn too.
On LinkedIn?
Mhm.
I don't know how to do that.
Mhm. Yeah, my new employee told me this today.
Well,
I know, my new
well,
employee.
look, Buddha's
How's
not
the-
in the picture.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Well,
I
his
don't
little
think he's gonna
head's
make
sticking up. That's okay. He's there. Everybody knows this is Buddha. 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 There he is. Everybody knows when they see it. That's Buddha's head. All
Our
right.
phone's off?
Mine is. Is yours on?
Yeah, more
Okay.
or less.
Okay.
All right, welcome to Law and Disorder with your host
Ken Goldberg.
and your co-host.
AJ Crowell. Woo! All right. We are here. We are going. We are so excited. Ken is an attorney and a former Buddhist monk. I don't know why I get the giggles every time I hear that because it's so funny. So he's an attorney in several states. This gentleman does have a brain.
I went to see The Wizard.
Oh, that was good.
you.
Good. I like that. Very cool. Okay, look at you're ahead of me. You have more people. I know. I hope it doesn't happen
Because
what
I
happened
was
last
also
time.
promoting.
But yeah, but people automatically go on to my. I don't understand. Remember that one time it took like 15 minutes and all of a sudden, I wonder what that was about. That's Facebook. That wasn't us.
You're the one that said 6 o'clock is prime time for this.
It is.
Okay. Well, here we are.
Well, actually, you picked the time. I said I didn't care.
No, your glasses are crooked.
Are they?
Very. There, that's better. No, this side's lower.
Well, it's catching on the.
That's better.
Is that better?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's better.
Thank you for taking care of me.
Hi, Charlie.
Show everybody your t-shirt. Yay. Not real sure. He said he got that in Chicago, but looks like a Texas t-shirt to me.
Well, it's my way of mocking Texas.
Okay.
Just one of many ways I mock Texas. Because I am originally from Chicago.
Yes, you are.
All right. So, welcome to the show. My co-host is a yoga instructor and a house flipper. So almost.
I like
as
how I'm a
strange.
yoga instructor. I published Dallas Yoga Magazine.
Well, I went to your yoga class.
Yes, he did. I was so excited. I'm so proud
To
of
me,
him.
you are the yoga
Oh,
instructor
thank
now.
you. Thank you. And it was so much fun. They surprised me.
Yeah.
It made me feel so good. It gave me warm fuzzies for the whole week. I mean, they surprised me, and all these people showed up. It was very, very nice.
I'm Malcolm.
I
So
like
yeah, Katya. It was a surprise.
Yes.
Yes, I got
was very
texted by
nice.
some friends who essentially, to paraphrase, said, "Oh, the cool kids are going to go to your 11 o'clock
Yeah.
class," and wanting to be one of the cool kids because I kind of missed out on being one of the cool kids when I was young.
Me too.
So I went to your
I
class.
like that I was the cool kid instructor.
She also said,
Ooh.
the text said, "Oh, it's real gentle."
It is gentle yoga.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, I couldn't have been more gentle.
Can you contort your body?
I
Ken?
can't.
No, I can't. Anyways. Oh, and down dog is a resting pose?
Yes, it is. It's a resting pose in yoga.
Yeah. Yeah. That's my point. Yeah. Okay.
It is.
If you know something about, by the way, so let's take
But I was
that-
very proud of Ken. I just want to let everybody know out there. All Ken's fans,
and
he
I'm
did
gonna
very
go
well.
back, by the
He
way.
needs to go back to get because he's so athletic and rides his bike and everything else. He needs to have that part. In there
I'm
too.
terribly tight.
Hmm.
So
That's what she said.
hey Bob. So listen, logistics. You can type questions into your chat. The chat that I'm monitoring 3, which is why I'm partly confused half the time.
See, mine's doing the same thing again.
Yeah.
I know. That's Facebook. That's not us. But go ahead. I'm going on.
So my personal Facebook, we broadcast live.
Mhm.
Ken Goldberg's Law and Disorder Facebook. But where we really want to eventually have people
Is
is
go
on the YouTube
YouTube.
channel
Mhm.
called Ken Goldberg's Law and Disorder.
Correct.
But whichever one you're on, feel free to type questions. Doesn't mean we're going to answer them. It doesn't have to be a question. You could just type a comment.
That's right. Comments
Yeah.
are good.
And we're sitting here, we're monitoring this while the show's
Well,
going
we're
on.
attempting to.
Well, we're doing the best we can.
We're
right?
attempting to.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
hey, Hillary and I went to high school together. Did I say
Oh!
that another time? When
I
she
don't
took-
remember that, but that's
I'm
pretty cool.
monitoring.
I like
Katya,
that.
Katya, I
like that.
met at the drum jam.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
So we just
I
became
love solo.
friends.
Yay,
And
solo.
she speaks French, and,
Ooh, oui, oui.
and
That's all I know. Oui, oui.
Je voudrais te présenter mon ami Amy Joe.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
Dis donc, où est la bibliothèque?
Oh, where's the library?
Yes. Those are the two phrases I learned in third grade.
Oh, I'm so impressed.
They made me take French in third grade. And then I got to high school and everybody said, Ken, take Spanish. First off, I hadn't done that good in French, but the high school counselor said to me and my mother, he took French, he should continue in French. So they put me in French 1
Oh my God.
at my freshman year of high school. Well, sophomore year, I was in French 1 again, because I flunked it. And so I flunked French 1 the second time.
Yes.
So then they sent me away to school, to a boarding school, which we've talked about. And they decided maybe it was time to put me in Spanish, right?
Because, like, if you can't do French, then you can definitely do Spanish.
Well, you got to take languages if you're college prep.
Well, yeah, you got to take
Yeah.
languages.
And by the way, I got my only A ever in high school in my Spanish class.
Oh.
Thank you, Carlos Fraga. Although I can't find him, he was a Cuban refugee
Oh,
who went to school, and he roomed down the hall from me, and I used to go do my
oh,
Spanish.
you gotta
homework.
be kidding
his-
me!
I mean, it was legitimate somewhat.
Oh my lordy! Did you learn any Spanish?
Spanish was his first language. Oh,
So the answer is
no.
nada.
No. I worked with the Hispanic population in Chicago.
Well,
for
I understand.
number
So
of
you
years.
speak about as much as I do. I took 3 years of Spanish in high school, and I can say "Hola, cómo está? ¿Dónde está el cuarto de baño?"
speaks French. She said bonjour.
Oh, bonjour.
Yeah. So I can say a lot of things. I can call you
I'm sure you
maricón
can.
and stuff. you know.
Pendejo.
Oh, come on. Now that's a little rude.
I thought punta was a little rude.
No. Punta, no. There's no N. That means point.
Oh, the puta?
Yeah. Yes.
I thought it had an N in it.
No.
Oh, okay.
So I do know
Okay.
more French than
See,
you.
all of a sudden
I
they
mean,
all
I
popped
do
up.
know more Spanish.
I know.
Perfect.
So crazy.
So let's get on with the show. So,
Yes, Ken. What do we have today on Law and Disorder?
So, listen, I don't know, it really ought to have a system where we know if any of these people are actually still listening.
I think everybody's listening.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, let's
We had a great week last week.
rock this place.
Yeah.
We're going to rock
Let's
this
do that.
place. Rock
Oh,
it
I did that.
inside out.
We had that tap song when I was a girl, like 13 years old in my tap class. That was our recital song. Yeah. I can do the Buffalo Shuffle still.
Ah. So here's what AJ said before the show, because we got some deep topics. Normally I have about 8 articles.
Yeah,
or
we
so.
have long ones
you know,
today. And
There were 2 really kind of, they were a little deeper than we usually go, I think. But that's an impression. Hi, Happy. So today, AJ said logistically, we should probably start out with the easiest so we don't get bogged down and
Right.
not get anything done.
right.
Okay. So, former New York police officer is suing a gun maker for the manufacturing of a faulty 9mm
Right.
handgun, which he was carrying. And so it goes on to say, so this is strange. I never heard of this gun company, and I was in the gun
Right.
industry. So,
Well, that is a little weird.
well, I'm
and-
guessing they're a newer company, and they call Honor Defense, which already
I already
like
thought
them.
it was weird. I thought
Yeah.
it was weird. It sounds
Yeah.
more military.
A Georgia
than,
gun maker. Well, and that may be who they're trying to. Because
Well, they
I think
did
I
sell
looked,
to the Texas cops, the
Well,
Texas Rangers.
I looked at a picture, and I think it was a camel-colored gun. So
Oh,
that
really?
would indicate that they were
There you
trying to
go.
appeal to the more macho
Well, that's what it
audience.
sounds like to me.
So apparently, this officer, he said that he was handling his gun in a holster, okay,
Mhm.
and it dropped and it discharged and it shattered a bone in his leg.
Hmm.
So,
And it discharged. I mean, he was lucky because it discharged by his kids, his pregnant wife, and it shot into a wall. So he was really lucky that it hit him. I mean, I'm sorry
so
to say
it's
that. But
hard to sue a manufacturer on these circumstances. Normally, first off, the government has gone out of its way to protect gun manufacturers from lawsuits, et cetera, et cetera. But in this case, he's got a good case because apparently there was a YouTube video of a guy who tests guns and stuff, does
Mhm.
reviews, and he said it failed the drop test.
yeah,
And the drop test, everybody advertises that their gun passed the drop test.
well, that's
So-
a big deal.
So like Glock doesn't have a hammer, doesn't have a safety.
Mhm.
So one of the things they do is they say we dropped our gun 3,000 times from 12 feet,
Right.
and it never discharged. We ran over the gun
Well, that's
with
a big
car.
deal. I mean,
So
I'm
and
a dropsy kind of gal. I drop stuff all the time.
well, you probably shouldn't be handling a gun too often.
It's in my drawer.
Yeah. So so a YouTuber had said, there's a problem, had written to the company
Mhm.
and said this is a problem. The standard for a gun drop, test has been established by a internal organization in the gun industry, not by any federal.
Sure.
So
They
there's
police
no,
themselves.
yeah. So there's no official
Right.
test that they had to pass, but this one apparently flunked. Yeah, you don't want a gun because no matter how cautious you are,
There's
just-
going to be
so
accidents.
there's
when you
some
drop
rules
it.
to gunning. First rule, every gun is always loaded. Let me get these out of order. It's been a while. Never point the gun at anything you're not prepared to destroy. Every gun is always loaded. Keep your finger off the trigger until you're on the target. Know what lies beyond your target. So if you penetrate the target, those are the four
Sort
basic
of common
rules.
sense, but
So
yes.
let's assume you stick to those. You're good, right?
Mhm.
But here's a problem. You drop a gun,
Right.
right? I mean, you're not breaking any of those.
I've dropped
four
gun
rules.
before, so I can't say anything.
Well, I've accidentally or
Well, obviously,
negligently.
it was accidentally.
I've accidentally or negligently. We tend to call discharges of a firearm negligent
Okay.
because it usually involves accessing the trigger and pulling the
Oh,
trigger.
okay. But this guy
So-
didn't do that in this article.
No,
That
according
was a
to this.
no. He dropped the gun by accident, and it discharged and hit him in the leg.
And this is
And he
based-
happened to be a police officer.
Yeah, and they're saying that this gun is prone to go off if it's dropped at a 30-degree angle.
Yeah, that's it on a
So
lot of
there's-
guns. That
there's
that
various-
yeah.
And so a very famous gun maker, Sig Sauer, is a major gun manufacturer. They apparently had a gun that did this, and they land up getting sued, and they land up having to do a recall of 500,000 guns.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And they do what's called an upgrade. An upgrade means that we're going to fix this.
Okay.
It's like a recall.
Like a
of any
call
sort.
in a
Yeah,
car.
car,
You
yeah.
come in. I had to take my Mustang in and get new airbags. They had recalls on the airbags.
Well, they didn't put another airbag in it.
That's what they said they did.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you're the Takata recall
Uh-huh.
was so massive for airbags.
Yeah.
Millions.
Yeah.
One of the biggest recalls. They didn't have replacement airbags for most of the vehicles. What they were doing, most manufacturers were calling you in and disabling.
Oh no, they didn't do that. They put new one in.
Well, I'm a little upset now because
I had to wait a long time because it really
Toyota-
was a recall like 2 years ago.
Toyota did
So-
not offer me a new.
Well, mine's a
airbag.
Mustang. Mine's made in America.
Yeah.
It's good, right?
Let her believe that.
It's
So,
okay, the parts might not. be,
yeah,
but it's,
the
it's
Takata airbag
assembled in
recall.
America.
Has probably affected almost all of us at some level, right? Hi, Eva. So here,
Hey, Ava.
next article, right?
Next article.
Look at you. You're just filling up.
Woo.
We're also
Yay, my
broadcasting-
friends.
We're broadcasting on Ken Goldberg's Law and Disorder YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's the best place to watch it. And when people don't tend to go over there, we're trying to get people to go over there. It's a better picture, it's better quality, especially from my Facebook. Much
Right.
better.
So AJ and I have had a number of discussions
Mm-hmm.
on our podcast about marijuana and the legalization and a variety of.
And other drugs. I feel like this supports
Yes.
my case.
Well, I don't think so.
I think so.
So that'll be interesting how you're going to twist this one into a victory.
I
for
think
you.
you're going to twist it.
So there's an article called "The Problem of Legal Weed," or I called it "The Problem of Legal Weed," and what they're saying is that. Well, let me summarize it my way, and then you can spin it your way.
Because Ken is always right. And we all agree with Ken.
Listen,
Woo!
in accepting this award, I want to say I deserve it. Okay, thank you, and I have nobody else to thank for it. It's so ridiculous. All right, so let me see if I summarize it, and you'll see if you agree. The bulk of the discussion seems to be that because marijuana is still illegal in so many markets, on the legal market,
Okay, I already see where you're going with the other argument. Okay, I got you. Go ahead.
the legal market
Caught
is
on.
overproducing.
I caught on. Okay.
So because there's still a black market,
Mhm,
according to the article,
mhm.
they're funneling
Correct.
because the black market is one. It's they don't have taxes,
Right.
so people are buying in those areas. They're still first off they're confined to the black market because their state is still
Say
making
it's
it
not legal. Right.
and it's another avenue. And the third one was regulation in like California is so restricted
Yes.
that it's
Expensive.
expensive just to get a
Yep.
dispensary.
So people aren't
started.
even, they're opening places without licenses and they're not being shut down. That just amazes me.
It's just overwhelming.
It just amazes me. Oh, I'm going to open
Well,
up a cannabis store without a license and I'm going to be here for a
yeah, and I
while.
don't know how prevalent that is. The article made it sound
Pretty
like,
prevalent.
LA said LA had the
Yeah.
problem. So Oregon. Well, let's use Oregon as an example. Oregon was one of the first
Mhm.
legalized recreational states, and they produce so much, especially in Southern Oregon, that Idaho, which is next door and doesn't
Exactly.
have legalized marijuana, they say their seizures of shipments
Has gone
Seaman. sea ship by the seashore. Yeah. Sheep by sea sales by seashore is gone up, so many hundreds.
Yeah, so they've been
percent.
seizing all this marijuana. No, it's gone up 665%.
There you go.
That's not that's ridiculous.
But so the
They see
experts,
665% more than they had to.
most of the experts that they're talking to said it's just there's no way. First off, you never eliminate black market.
Of course not.
But my argument has been legalization minimizes black markets. If it only
I understand.
minimizes them dramatically, that's a win.
But
for
this
society.
article is sitting here saying that because they have to get all these licenses and they got to go through all the bureaucracy and the red tape and pay all their fees, that the product is so much more expensive. So the black market is still existing.
Yes, but they're saying that once everybody's in that market and there isn't that big a black market,
But there will
people
still
will
be
be
one.
pushed in, not to the,
Maybe
according-
not to
according to the people
665%
that
increase in black market, but you just said it, there will always be a black market.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
And
whether
I
it's-
think there will be a black market because it's going to be cheaper. I'm going to go for the
Well-
cheapness. When I was out using and doing all that stuff in my younger days, cost was a factor.
yeah, but if you could go to Walgreens, which is
Mhm.
half a mile from here,
Mhm.
versus going down to South Dallas.
I wouldn't have to go to South Dallas. They'll be on the street. You can always find it somewhere around you.
Yeah, well,
You don't think so?
I guess then we need to legalize meth and heroin because no, that wasn't down the street. I lived in Tucson. I lived in Dallas. I had to go places.
I just lived with the drug dealers. So
I mean,
you got
I
a
had-
problem.
well,
See,
yeah,
I
I
just
didn't
made,
live with the drug
I see
dealer, no.
pretty girls.
No.
We just lived with the.
Yeah, well, that's not the test.
Yeah, I've been sober since
The
I was
test is
24,
not
so I'm just
pretty.
giving this up, Just a little bit.
There is no study that says just because you're pretty in your age and you can get drugs anytime
Back
you
then, I
want,
was really
That-
pretty.
that is the
It's a reality for a lot of young girls.
right, but that's not empirical data.
You don't
Yeah.
think so?
No.
Okay.
All right. So there's a problem with legal weed. Did I miss anything? There are more than 650
Yeah, I thought that was
licensed
interesting.
marijuana dispensaries.
In Oregon, there's 3 times the number of McDonald's restaurants.
Well, thank God, right?
I just thought there was a hilarious statistic. I was like, are you serious? There's more marijuana dispensaries, 605 compared to 205, something like 650 compared to 205 McDonald's.
And it says because of the prevalence of it,
Mhm.
there is no reason to shop illegally. Okay?
If it's available cheaper, they're going to buy it cheaper.
There are 39 states where marijuana remains illegal for recreational use. And that has proved to be an attractive market for Oregon owners.
Mhm.
So the article said if it was nationwide legal, then Oregon owners would have an incentive to ship to legal dispensaries around the country. In other words,
Okay.
right now, an Oregon grower
Well, so they'd
has
still be.
to sell to Oregon. But
Right.
if he could sell to an Idaho dispensary,
Yes.
he could ship it legally.
It doesn't matter. He's still selling it illegally.
No,
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it says
no,
right here.
No, that's not what it says.
For recreate and has proved to be an attractive market for
The
Oregon
illegal.
growers.
What I'm saying is, and what they're saying is, if national,
Attractive market. That means they're selling it illegally. They're selling it illegally in Idaho. It's selling illegally.
All right, so we're gonna take a time out for a moment. Everybody, calm down.
It's selling
Calm down while I explain this to her. All right, everybody, just hold your horses. I'm going to camera one.
It says.
Stop. I'm gonna get you through this. I am going to get you through this. Okay.
Okay.
Presently,
You know,
That
people
is-
think we smoke pot.
okay. Presently, this is the situation.
Yes.
The argument is if it was legal in Idaho and Oregon could sell to dispensaries in Idaho,
Yeah.
it would have an incentive to stay within the legal market, thus reducing the attraction.
Oh my God. Okay.
That's what the
Okay.
experts
You
are saying.
feel like that's true too, don't you?
I think it's rational that if it's a
Okay.
legal market and they don't have to run the risk of engaging, these are legal growers.
They're going to sell but
These
they
are
have
legal
so
growers
much to sell. They're just going to continue selling it legally and sell to Idaho. They'll
Because,
just produce more pot.
because there's a bigger market and it's the only market outside of the legal market in Oregon. They can't legally sell
I know,
outside of Oregon
but they are.
illegally.
Yes.
So what the argument is, if they had legal markets,
Yes.
because they can't, it's a flooded market in Oregon. So you open up the market. David Brown's a libertarian.
Hi, David. I
He-
got the Libertarian Award one year. I was afraid to tell him about that. Just letting you know. For
I'm
free
sure-
speech.
I'm
Woo!
sure if he were here, he
David would like
argue
me.
that if you have a free market, that the illegal, the subterranean, the subculture diminishes.
Well, I'm not saying it's not going to diminish. I'm saying it's not going to go away. And
Well,
I think people are going to buy it wherever it's cheapest.
That means
And it's not going to be cheaper in the dispensaries. It's going to be more expensive. There's too much red tape. There's too much fees. They're charging more because their product probably is better. So they're charging more.
you're just kind of making up an argument now.
No!
You're just saying, I think. Here I am citing
Oh
studies,
my
and
God.
professors,
You are not.
and
You
people
are
in the
twisting it
industry.
around.
They're just going,
You are
Well,
twisting
I'm
it
just-
around.
I'm
You
just
threw out
telling
all
you.
the stuff that supported my side and didn't even talk about it. So never mind.
well, they're saying
What's that
marijuana.
say? Oh, in the end, many advocates say states
Can
can
do
do
much
much more
more.
to fight the black market, but it will never be fully gone into the
until
federal.
government.
Right. They're not
Well, that's
involved.
what I've been saying.
They're
If
not-
they,
You're saying the state.
I'm saying if it was legal across the country,
Okay.
so that Oregon growers could sell anywhere else in the
I
country
understand.
legally,
Yes.
they would probably not want to risk the black
Well,
market
you would hope not. but-
because they can make enough money by shipping to other
Is
states.
it-
Right
okay.
now, if they don't have enough
Do you think
people,
these people really think there's enough money? Don't you think that there's never enough money for some of these people? That they're just going to keep producing and producing and producing as much as they can, no matter where they sell it?
my head is spinning. David is suggesting that when he gets back to Texas from Washington, D.C., where
Oh,
he is
okay.
presently working.
And open up a
that we should
dispensary.
open up a dispensary.
Okay, there you go.
Adios, mio. So, if anybody's still listening, nobody's gone to the YouTube channel, according to YouTube.
Okay, that's okay.
Hi, all of
Yay.
AJ's people, but you won't have to worry about the product from August. But you see, he gets it.
He gets it.
Okay.
Adam, you get it.
Adam gets
You
it.
get it.
People.
You mean all those bad trips I had when I was younger wouldn't happen anymore?
Let's include LSD. Let's include hallucinogens.
Yes.
Let's include meth and heroin. I am telling you, if I had a choice today to spend 4 times as much, for instance, for something that I knew was actually
Because
LSD.
you had the money. When I was younger, I didn't have the money to do that.
Wow.
And you think the people down in the hood have the money to go to Walgreens to buy something? No, they're gonna buy it the cheapest possible avenue. If it's Walgreens or not, it's gonna be cheap. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm done.
A lot of people don't want to die from accidental overdoses.
You really think meth addicts on the street are worried about accidental overdoses?
If they're shooting, they are, yeah.
Okay.
Smoking is not so propensity. A propensity to overdose from smoking ice, as they call it, is not as great as shooting.
Okay.
Okay? When you're
I
shooting
agree.
anything, adulterants, any adulterant, not any adulterant, but a lot of adulterants will kill you. It's called a hot shot, right?
Well, yeah, of course it will. I
Okay.
agree 100%.
So there's a lot of people.
Speedball.
So isn't it worth it to remove from the black market the people that can afford it? Your argument is, well, there's still going to be a bunch of low-end buyers. that
Yes.
are- well, you know what? I maybe there's still people buying black market gin. I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
I mean,
That was been a little longer than just a few years. But yes, there's people buying. Go to Kentucky.
right. There's moonshine and stuff. Yeah, but so you're going to sacrifice the greater society because you want to.
No, I'm just saying that there will
it-
always be. And also, there will always be a black market. Is what I'm saying, and I believe that the true addicts, like I was, I was a high going addict because I had money. Okay, but I was able to purchase things, but a lot of my friends weren't. And I believe that when you are a true addict, no matter where your next fix comes from, it depends on how much money you have.
Yeah. So now, counterpoint. This is my take.
Okay.
Okay. I think that whenever somebody could afford it and their life and them, you're right. I mean, when you're in the throes of addiction
Yes.
and you're jonesing
Yes.
and you don't have the money, you're going to use what you can use.
There you go.
That's why people use pills out of medicine cabinets
Right.
when they're jonesing.
Exactly.
That's not the measure that a society needs to go by. What we need to go
We're
by
talking
is
about meth and heroin. Don't you think that the people using meth and heroin are mostly the ones jonesing that would take a hit no matter where it came from? You think there are productive people out there that are, not I just use heroin on the weekends. I'm okay. I'm not a heroin addict.
there are people who are productive and have money who can go to Walgreens if it was there and they could buy it. Yeah, of course there are.
Oh,
Do you
okay.
think all meth users,
I think
and heroin
most
users
are-
are low end?
I think most are.
Oh man,
Okay.
that's just because you don't see the hidden addiction
Okay.
because people can afford.
Well, I know
So-
I was using Coke every day. There's no way in hell anybody knew I was using Coke every day. They
well,
had
you
no
just
idea.
argued for me.
I agree. So I was agreeing with you.
All right. David
In that
says
one
if
point.
you overproduce, the price goes down. Free market, baby.
Free market.
So scroll. Let's see what else is going on your site. Nothing. Okay, so
Oh, Brad. Hey, Brad.
so if you're late to the party of Ken Goldberg's Law and Disorder as a podcast, well, essentially what this ongoing thing, well, we use what we can to comment on society, social
We
commentary.
try.
Yeah. And so we've been caught up in a fight of gigantic gargantuan proportions about, and I wish that my buddy Paul was here because he's a good Christian and he would talk about it from the Christian perspective of compassionate care for all the members of society and how legalization would begin to address that. But I don't know enough about all that stuff. So let's just jump to the next article.
Next one.
So Ginny, who's not with us today, sadly, It's not like she's gone. I mean,
I'm glad to
Yeah.
hear this because I was beginning to get upset. I was
she
like, okay.
posted this and I sent it to you. And because we had talked about the Border Patrol and
Yeah.
how out of control they were. I made the comment that in Arizona and southern Texas, they act pretty badly. Border Patrol is used to dealing with illegal population. And so even when they're dealing with Americans, they tend to be overbearing. And I pointed out that when I travel to Tucson, I always have to go through a checkpoint both ways. I'm not near the border. There is a permanent checkpoints have been established on Interstate 10. One is outside of Sierra Blanca if you're going east, and the one going west is right outside of Las
So
Cruces.
do you have to have your passport?
No, they
What do you
just flag you down. You get the trucks going one lane, cars going another, and border patrolmen are there.
And what are they doing?
Are you an American citizen?
Oh, that's what they used to do when I crossed the Canadian border when I was little. That's it.
Ajan, hello. Sawadee krap.
So, okay, so they're really doing nothing.
No, they've, when I started traveling around
Yeah.
the country, there would be like 3 guys at these checkpoints.
Okay,
Fairly casual.
I
They
haven't
always
gone through
stopped
any of
me
these.
because I looked Hispanic.
okay, I'll give you
They'd be
that.
waving people through. There are usually maybe 20 officers now with AR-15s at the checkpoints. There are dogs.
How come I never went? I mean, I traveled recently across the country. I don't.
No,
wow,
I
I
don't know
missed
where
it.
you traveled.
Colorado.
Well, you went north. So they have dogs now that are walking up and down.
Okay, so it is useful. Okay.
And they're all wearing the same dark glasses. And it's
Don't you
pretty-
think that's more for terrorism than drugs?
Absolutely not.
Really? Sorry to hear that. Okay,
Didn't you even read the article?
I read it.
So Ginny saw this and
You're right. Okay, I read the article.
she sent it to me. And there's a guy that's been reporting on the border. He's been writing books and he's
Yes.
been reporting for various
This really
periodicals.
upset me. This article really upset me. I just thought
Well,
it
this
showed
actually
it.
wasn't an article, right? This was actually a radio show.
Whatever. It really
that
upset
we
me.
missed.
It really the whole thing upset me. So go ahead.
So let me just read the first paragraph. It's
Mhm.
what this is I edited a radio show that appeared on NPR with a guy by the name of Garrett Graff.
Garrett Graff.
Okay. And so this is an excerpt. Customs and Border Protection is the nation's largest law enforcement agency with 45,000 gun carrying officers and agents. I want that to sink in for a second. 45,000. Because, a lot of people on Facebook, for instance, think that, somehow we're
I know.
protecting our border.
45,000.
Yeah.
I know. I was looking for the number because it talks about but it talks later about that's larger than the NYPD, the
Oh,
FBI,
yeah.
the Secret
Yeah,
Service.
it's larger
It's
than all
larger
them.
than all
Right.
of those put together.
Right.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
that's crazy.
So he says it's larger than NYPD. It's larger than the Coast Guard.
Coast Guard.
Here's what we both saw. Between 2005 to 2012, there was one Custom and Border Patrol officer agent arrested every single day. And today, since 2012, there's an officer or agent arrested for misconduct or violence, drug smuggling, even murder every 36 hours.
Those are the people that are supposed to be like on our side.
I want that to sink in.
Yeah. Repeat that again.
Yeah. So for 7 years, one was arrested every single day. Okay. And apparently they reformed. So now it's only every day and a half.
Yeah. It's every
That an
36
officer-
hours.
Murder, drug smuggling, human trafficking.
Violence, whatever.
Yeah.
But a border patrol officer is arrested every 36 hours for misconduct, violence, drug smuggling, human trafficking, murder. That's unbelievable. It upset me.
Well, it's not unbelievable.
No,
to
I
me.
know, but it upset me. I was like, are you
Well, of
freaking
course it
kidding me?
upsets you. It's supposed to upset you.
Oh my God, what is wrong with us?
So let me get into it a little bit more. And And then there was this Facebook page that's been in the news.
Oh, yeah, this is bad.
It's a Facebook group. It was a secret group of Border Protection agents, approximately 9,500 members,
9,500.
where they were, a lot of them were just openly making racist and misogynist, for you Trump supporters, that means hostile to women, comments. And even the chief of the Border Patrol was known to have been part of the group.
That's
So,
bad. Chief of the Border
from
Patrol
the top down,
is on Facebook. Well, why not?
okay? So,
The president of the country is, so he felt he could too.
So there's a lot more going on. I'm going to hand this to you. I'm going to wing it, and then you can bring in some
Okay.
specifics because you're a better reader than I am. So
Don't know about that, but
one of the premises that this guy is, he spent a lot of time with Border Patrol. He's interviewed people in and out of the Border Patrol. So the Border Patrol's marketing from its website and whatever it does is recruit people to fight terrorism.
Yes.
So you're going to stop drug smuggling and terrorism. Come work with us. You're going to wear a great uniform, this great green uniform.
when you get cool,
You'll
you
have-
get cool guns and cool
Yeah.
military equipment and all
right.
kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, there's-
and you'll get trained in
there's
military fashion.
helicopters
Oh
and
yeah,
drones
ATV.
and
What is it?
all
AVT, ATV.
ATV.
Yeah, ATVs. Yay! Driving in those.
So they're attracting a certain element, a lot of foreign military. And so they're already kind of ramped up, hyped up on testosterone. And then,
Well, they're excited because they believe they're going to be protecting the country. I believe that's what
Okay.
most of them believe that.
Yeah.
Not the bad ones. Some of them.
Remind me to talk about my Border Patrol buddy. David knows his name. God, there are no second place winners. David, if you're still listening, whoever wrote that book. I know his name as
Okay,
well as I
it'll
know my
come.
own.
It'll
Jordan. Bill Jordan.
There you go.
Bill
Bill Jordan. Bill Jordan.
Okay, remind me to talk about Bill sometime.
Okay.
Okay, so now he's saying there's this fundamental shift, which is causing a really dramatic danger
Mhm.
and harm to the immigrants. He said up until recently, there was two issues. Under Obama, we had unaccompanied minors
Mhm.
showing up. And typically they had family here and family would send them.
Right. And the minors would show up with like phone numbers written on their arms or name of their contact in America or something that they handed to people. So the children are only in detention a short period of time before
So
they were
Border
handed
Patrol
over.
would take them in, process them, know who they were, and know where they were going.
Yes.
Okay. Then there was a shift, more entire families, which
When that
Which-
happened when Trump came out.
more so.
Right.
And Obama was the great deporter. Make no mistake about it. Those of you that hail Obama, he wasn't my buddy. I wasn't a president I wanted, but he was the best I had to choose from at the time. But one of his policies was to deport the hell out of people. But he didn't break up families, and he was a little bit more humane about it.
Well, he didn't
Well-
leave kids sitting in these detention centers like
They
is
were
happening
removed
now.
from
They were
detention centers.
removed quickly. They were sent where they were supposed to be sent or sent to family members or whatever. So the kids weren't by themselves.
And now we have these. So he said what typically happened was, first off, people surrendered readily. They came to our border ready to surrender. They would reach out to the Border Patrol as soon as they got here to be processed.
Right.
And they would stay in the process,
Yes.
even though it took, say, 3 years
Right.
to get whatever papers they needed.
Mhm.
They were readily available.
The
They
kids didn't
reported.
take 3 years, but the adults sometimes, yeah.
I don't know anything. What do you know about the kids?
Well, they were saying the kids immediately were shipped out and processed quicker.
No, I'm saying they
Oh,
were
you
all
know,
brought
in the-
into the
I see what you're
country.
saying.
But
Okay,
the court
sorry.
process.
Yes, the court process takes a long time. I apologize.
Yes.
I misunderstood.
So
what
they
you were
were
saying.
to process them through the system in its
Correct.
entirety took multiple years.
Yes.
But they were not disappearing as the Trump administration maintains. Now, because of our new policy, people are not so willing to, they're still coming,
Yes.
but they're not showing up at the border and going, hi. So this guy says, here's two trends that are because of the Border Patrol's focus on capturing anybody they can
Right.
and having to process them with this more challenging process. He said the drug cartels have taken on human trafficking as a big business because now they'll send 40 people to an area they know will draw the border patrol, and then while they're processing these 40 people
They go in.
and trying to incarcerate them, they're running the drug mules
Right.
through. The other thing they're saying is the border patrol has no training and no staff to deal with humanitarian crisis,
Correct.
even though they know they're in the midst of a humanitarian crisis and they don't have
Right.
the civilian staff
No.
to even begin to approach it. And he's
Or
saying,
people who have trained for this. I mean, it's the wrong type of
Well,
person.
they're
most of the time,
saying-
too.
I mean, he's saying that experts, quote unquote experts, are saying that instead of having 45,000 armed agents,
Right.
many of whom are consumed with this, how about you maybe let's say 30,000 agents and 15,000
Right.
civilians who are typically cheaper,
Exactly.
by the way.
Exactly.
And they're doing the babysitting and they're doing
Right.
this stuff.
Well-
He said right now you got Border Patrol agents have to run out to the store to get toilet
Right.
paper
Right.
because they got too many people
Yep.
in these cages. And he said the cages are not new. What's new is how many
People are in,
are in the
and how long
cages.
they're staying in there.
right.
I
right.
love this. I love
and
this
the
quote.
fact that they're going crazy.
Yes. Well, I
They're
would too.
losing their minds.
Right. Well,
And one other thing before that there are, I forget what the percentage, there are a significant number of children now who will never be
oh yeah. No, there were
Reunited.
hundreds. This is the other part that I was like, oh my God,
they'll never be reunited with their families
because they've
because
lost.
there was never any record
Right.
of who their
So they've
family
taken
was.
these children. There's no records. So now these children are orphaned. I mean, like, I'm sorry, that just upsets me so badly. So now these children are orphaned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll never know how to find
No.
their families. Some of them
No.
are young enough they won't even know how.
No. And now where are
Yeah.
they going to put them? Because they can't send an orphan back to Mexico, can they? Drop 'em
I'm
off at the bus
Trump
stop?
can. Yeah, of course Trump can.
They'll put them on a bus and drop them off at a bus stop.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
No, they don't. I choose to believe
Okay.
that not. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, I like this.
I
It says,
promise you.
one of the major problems facing the Border Patrol today is that it went out and built its ranks by recruiting Rambos when actually it turns out that the Border Patrol needs to be Mother Teresa. And I love that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so,
That's exactly
so
what
then
you
there
just
was a
said.
discussion because the Border Patrol Union, that's members of the Border Patrol. They were the first union in the United States to endorse Trump because he said,
Yes.
I'm going to do this, I'm going to do
Yes.
that. He sounded like a very good deal.
Yeah.
But the reality is these guys are working more hours. They're not getting more pay.
Well, in
they-
reality is that he said he was going to have 5,000 new Border Patrol agents. And
there's
it's actually a
less-
smaller
Yeah.
number of Border Patrol agents
There
than
are
what was under
fewer-
Barack Obama.
fewer agents
Mhm.
now because even though they increased the budget,
Mhm.
they're burning them out so quickly
They don't stay long.
that the number of agents leaving on a daily basis permanently,
Mhm.
that the outgo is bigger than the inflow.
Well, and my favorite is they're lowering they're lowering the recruiting standards. Okay. They're lowering the training standards. They aren't conducting adequate background
Right.
checks.
They hired cartel members.
They friggin' hired cartel members. How can you hire cartel members in the
Well, they
United
didn't
States?
know.
Well, I understand, but oh my God, what is wrong with us? So it was flooded with people who have never been given a gun or a United States government badge under any other situation. But because they were so desperate to hire people down there, they hired
And
these
I had
people.
DFW gun ranges when 9/11 took place, and that's when they instituted the sky marshals. They burgeoned. There had always been some sky marshals, but it got to be a big business.
Right.
And I can't. Some of the guys they hired, I had trained as
Oh, that's
security
funny.
guards, not as sky marshals. And these guys were walking around with high caliber,
And it's scary.
I'm not sure what the right word is. Again, David Brown knows much more about guns than I do nowadays. But they were carrying 357 SIG, which is a high velocity bullet, which nobody's ever yet explained to me why that was the issue, because that was the handgun at the time most capable of penetrating barriers. I don't know why that would be the one you'd put onto a
Oh no, a
onto
plane.
plane.
So go right through the plane.
And these guys, a lot of them were low end security guards. And
Absolutely.
they got hired, and they were losing them quicker because
that's
they
scary.
were, whether it was drinking, whether committing some
Yeah, whatever
offense.
it was.
Yeah.
Well, the other part too was that it says that there were 12 migrants who died in custody since September. Okay, and in the decade prior to September, not a
Decade.
single
Decade
migrant.
is 10
10
years.
years. And in a decade prior to September, not
None.
a single migrant had died in custody, and 12 have died in custody.
And you know why
since
it's
September.
happening?
That's
Because
bad.
these damn Mexicans are sending their sick over here.
Oh yeah, it's all the sick. Oh, I didn't know that
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
the reason.
No, it's not.
Oh, they're
We're
sending
not
the
doing
sick. They
anything
don't
wrong.
want it. They don't want to keep the sick. They want to send the sick.
They're
to
sending them
America.
here to die on our property.
Oh, I didn't
I
know
scrolled
this.
down. I want to see if anything's
I
happening.
didn't know this. Oh my
How
god.
come nobody's on? Nobody's joined us.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so yeah, that's right here. This is talking about the children and permanently orphaned. Now admits that hundreds of children are likely permanently orphaned because the government has no ability to reconstruct who they crossed with and who their parents are.
I mean, I think it's a.
That's not the
tragedy.
kids' fault. The kids were brought over here. That was the parents' fault. I mean, if you want to look at it that way, the kids should be taken better care. Look at the kids. They're kids. They weren't asked to come over.
Listen, I have said publicly, I have great empathy for our immigrant population from the South and from Europe and from India and from Asia. So, well, India is technically Asia, but you know what I'm saying? I don't see the value in trying to close off the southern border, in particular, under the guise of keeping out these violent, rapists and murderers and such. That's a hoax.
Right.
Now, if you want to control immigration, then you should have passed the comprehensive immigration bill that John McCain had advocated, that the bipartisan bill, which was trying to say, listen, we need to have some way of bringing people into the country that's orderly. If you make it so, there was an article in the paper yesterday. There are so the courts were already backed up.
Right.
The immigration courts, there's not enough judges. They're not hiring more judges.
But they did for a while. They hired a few, and then that was it.
Well, they're overwhelming the system.
Yes.
They're overwhelming the system the way they're doing the system. So
because the system has changed. It wasn't overwhelming it before.
Well, it was
not
slow.
to the degree.
It was slow, but everything that the administration purports is going to be more effective in safety, health, and welfare of people coming here and ourselves is backfiring because it's not well thought out.
Right.
And the unintended consequence, we assume unintended. We don't know what these people intend.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I always wonder that. It's like, what are they thinking? Do they not know what's happening over here? Or do they just, it's so pathetic where they're from. They're like, screw it, I'll go for it. And I'm going to repeat this one more time because the Border Patrol already spends on border and immigration protection than the combined budget of the FBI, ATF, the U.S. Marshals, the Secret Service, and the entire budget of the NYPD. So it's a massive spending program already. That is, all of those combined do not spend as much as the border control. That's a lot.
I mean, for those of us who are living near the border, when a lot of this went on, we watched the militarization of America.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When I was in Tucson or when I'm traveling around the Southwest, which I do, they are stopping buses, Greyhound buses in Oklahoma, Colorado, not near the border.
I know.
And asking people to show their papers.
I know.
And this has been going on for several years.
I made my son bring his papers everywhere.
It went on.
They are in his wallet.
It went on under Obama too.
I know.
The Border Patrol was doing it, and I'm like, ask for my papers. I
make Brian carry him with him, so there's not a problem because he can't get in trouble. Because if anything happens, he'll never become a United States citizen. He cannot get arrested. Nothing. So whatever they say.
I don't know if Ajahn Chai is still with us. He's a Buddhist monk in Tucson. But one of the other monks that I lived with, I must have told this tale. We went to Patagonia, by the way. Thank you for reminding me about Patagonia. I know you didn't, but so when you go to Patagonia, which is about 45 minutes from Tucson.
Mm-hmm.
It's a kind of a nice pastoral community, maybe 10 stores, but it's pretty.
Uh-huh.
And there's a lake a little bit further south, maybe another 10 miles south. Well, before you get to Patagonia, you go through a town I don't remember the name of, and there is a border patrol facility. Big border.
Okay.
Got to be 100 border patrol vehicles, not in
Oh,
use.
wow.
They're
Oh,
just parked there.
well, maybe they're in use now.
No,
Okay.
no, this was after the surge.
Oh, okay.
They're flush with cash. Okay. And then, but what was I going to tell you about
I don't know.
Patagonia?
Patagonia. Yeah, you talk about the
sorry.
monk.
So I took Ajahn Panama. I took him to Patagonia
Okay.
with some friends, and he didn't bring his papers.
Oh,
we
my God.
we got stopped at the checkpoint because there is a checkpoint. If you go south of Tucson, every road has a border
Interesting.
checkpoint now.
Okay.
Every road from Nogales, Mexico, to Tucson
Interesting.
has now a fixed fixture.
So what do you do? Just bring
Used
your
to just
passport?
be a little tent and everything. Well, you got to answer whether you're an American citizen. I think if you go, si, senor, you're probably going to get, excuse me, pull you over there.
Okay.
If your English is without accent and you don't seem to have something suspicious, they just tell you to move on. So anyways, so they ask, is everybody in America? Said, well, he's not. I don't want to lie. But the consequences came quickly.
I'm
Like,
sure they did.
I'm thinking Buddhist monk, lighten up. Oh man, the dude was like, I can take him into custody right now and start deportation proceedings. He'll be out of this country by tonight.
Is that what they said to him?
Yeah, because not to him, he didn't speak English. Well, yeah,
But they said it to you.
Yeah.
And what did you say? I'm going to turn around and go back?
No, I said, lighten up, man. I said, listen, I can have his passport and his visa here within an hour.
Right.
I've called the temple. They have it.
Right.
They'll bring it. He said, I don't have to wait. He has to have it with him. And it is the law.
Right, right.
You have to carry it. Well, by the way, I was going to say,
He
we
spoke.
don't have pockets when you're wearing saffron robes.
Do you wear
And that's
anything
true.
underneath there? Or are you hanging free?
Well, that's one of those things that we're going to let kind of float out there.
Okay.
Do you wear underwear underneath your saffron
I
robes?
think they do. I don't know if it's underwear, but you do.
But
You tie
mine-
it a certain way or something so it's covering you or something. like that?
Yeah. But
Okay.
mistakes have been known to be made.
Okay.
So there's a bag, shoulder bag that almost all monks have, and you carry your stuff in it. But they, I don't know why they wouldn't carry their ID all the time.
Well, who thinks that you're going to need it? He didn't know. Did anybody tell him?
Well, you're told that when you enter the country.
But
that,
come on. Did anybody tell you?
I'm
You should
sh-
have been responsible for that. I'm sticking up for you, Sir Monk.
Well, I stood up for him.
No, I mean, you really should have
Luckily,
reminded him.
They went. I'd never been stopped with somebody
Oh, my
from Thailand.
God.
So they went inside their little house, I guess, put his name, his date of birth, and stuff in. They could see
Right.
apparently that he had a visa, et cetera,
course.
et cetera. So he went and powwowed with some more Border Patrol guys, came over to the car, gave me some more crap, and told us we could go.
Oh,
So
okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, that would have been bad news story. Buddhist monk gets hit on the head. That was the other thing in this article that appalled me, that in the Facebook page, they were calling the people tonks
because that's the sound it makes when you hit them with a hammer
with a flashlight.
flashlight.
Yeah.
You're
So-
a mag light.
Yeah.
Tonk.
So they're calling all these people tonks coming in, the immigrants, because that's the sound they made.
So I'll tell you
With
about
the
Bill Jordan.
Flashlight
now.
on the head.
Bill Jordan, one of the early border patrolmen in the United States, and when he got out of the military, he went to work for the border patrol.
Ray
was with me.
Oh, Ray Dean, crazy.
Yes.
Thank you.
What does that mean?
He should have checked about a passport, meaning you should have asked the monk if I love Ray Dean. She's picking on you.
She doesn't mean that.
Yes, she does. She is saying you
Actually-
should have checked for the monk to make sure the poor guy who barely speaks English is in our country, teaching you your spiritual journey
Well,
is taken care of when you get in the car.
Well, let me say to you and Redeem both.
Yes.
When we got back to the temple, I told the abbot what had happened.
Yes.
He was nonplussed. I said, well, you guys need to start carrying. He said, oh, they're just giving you a hard time. Yes, they were giving us our.
But like he could have been arrested. He could have been deported.
He didn't take it that seriously.
Okay.
So it's not me. So Radine was in the vehicles. He was in the back. It was my white Silverado truck
Okay.
with her husband, Gary, who passed away. Gary was making some sort of trouble in the back seat about the border checkpoint. We
Yeah.
knew it was coming. And I said, listen, if you screw around when they pull us over, I'm not waiting for you when they take you into custody.
You said that to Radine?
Well, no, to her husband,
Oh, okay.
Gary.
Still.
And the irony is, of course, he didn't do anything, but the monk almost got us in trouble. So it was
Poor
a
monk.
lose-lose. So now I'm going to tell you about Bill Jordan.
Okay, tell us who he is.
So I could swear, problem is with any of these stories, I've told them to somebody somewhere sometime.
Okay, who cares? Tell us again if you
Right?
told me. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So Bill Jordan was a border patrolman,
I remember this.
and he was a quick draw.
Oh,
And
because that is definitely necessary.
well,
when
it's
you're
not
dealing with
that
the
necessary,
immigrants.
but for him, he just was.
Yep. Well, it's good for if you're dealing with
And
bad guys.
And he wrote a he wrote a book about guns. He wrote a gun about books. He wrote a book about guns, and one of the titles of one of his books was "No Second Place Winners," talking about a gunfight. So his thing was training. So he worked the border on horse until after World War II.
Wow.
He talks about after World War II, they got surplus Jeeps to ride in.
Oh,
So up until then. So by the way, I love this story. I met Bill Jordan on an airplane coming from the SHOT Show in Las Vegas on my way back to Dallas.
the gun show in Las Vegas.
There's a SHOT Show. The SHOT Show is the industry show.
Okay.
It's not where you go and buy guns. It's where everybody who manufactures
Okay.
anything.
I didn't know what it
holsters,
was. I thought I'd
guns,
ask.
SHOT
Okay.
Show, 35,000 attendees.
Okay.
Or something, right? And it takes up a whole convention hall.
Mhm.
I mean, you walk for 5 days.
I understand.
Yeah, scopes, everything. So on the plane back, I'm sitting next to Bill Jordan, who I'm acquainted with in terms of I know who he is, and he said something to me, and I'm like, and he's like, oh yeah, my name's Bill Jordan. I'm like,
Right.
He's like a celebrity if you're a gun guy, and so he was.
Did he sign your boob?
Sometimes only Yiddish can express what's going on. So and he told me some stories. But anyways, when they were border patrolmen, he would say, he wrote in his book and he repeated for me in person, they would hide in the desert at night
Mhm.
and wait for the people smuggling.
Wow.
There was more people smuggling
Sure.
then, right? And he said we would jump out, and,
Wow.
and tell them manos arriba. And he said if they didn't get him up, they didn't get him up. So they would shoot him. And I'm thinking, somebody jumps out of me in a dark desert,
I'd shoot him.
yelling manos arriba. I don't know that I'm dropping my gun
No.
right away. I'm probably going to
Yeah,
go, what?
yeah.
And then, so I told him about this. I said, well, you shot a lot of people. I think in today's world, they might have called it murder.
Yeah, exactly.
And he said, I never killed nobody that didn't have it coming,
Wow.
And then he said, except for that one good old boy.
Is that really what he said?
He said that to me.
Oh, wow.
And that story was how he shot a fellow border patrolman in his office when he accidentally discharged a gun. The bullet went through the wall and hit a border patrolman at the Xerox machine on the other side.
No.
Yes.
Is this guy Craig
But
Craig?
it doesn't,
was
it
he Craig
doesn't
Craig?
end there.
Oh, my God.
So he
Is
tells
this
me
guy
this.
still alive?
No, he
Oh
was
my
85
God.
the day I met him.
Oh, okay.
Okay. He passed away several years ago. He was 6'5", lean, and was renowned nationwide. He went to work for the NRA when he left the Border Patrol as a quick draw artist.
Oh, wow. That's great. Okay.
And I knew of him
Can't
because
believe he's just like laying there waiting for people and jumping out and shooting them.
yeah.
That's awful.
And Well, he thought he was.
He was
stopping
doing the right
smugglers.
thing. I understand.
But he wrote in his
That's
book about
bad.
shooting guys that was trying to get back across the Rio Grande the other side. And I'm like, that's murder.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. They're fleeing. But you know, Border Patrol historically have not paid a lot of attention to it. So
Right. Wow.
show me a new move. She heard the story before.
What?
She's saying we've heard this story before.
See, I don't remember that story.
She's saying bust a new move.
Oh,
So anyways, yeah, so that guy died. But the best part, since you haven't heard this story, Rosie has, is that then he said he was kind of sickly. Calling the herd, just calling the herd. No harm done.
I did shoot one good old boy. I probably shouldn't have, but you know what? He was sickly. That's called rationalization of our actions.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Absolutely. So, anyways,
Oh my God.
so my concern is, and I raised it a week or two ago about Border Patrol, and then this came
Yeah,
out.
it's been all over the news.
You know, let me wrap it up by saying a Border Patrol agent or officer is now arrested every 36 hours on average. And previously, up until 2012, 2005 and 2001 was arrested every day of the year. So,
and not
that's-
just for something small. I mean, it was murder, drug smuggling,
Yeah.
human trafficking.
But there's so much money. Remember during the cocaine cowboy days, you know, Florida's police were so corrupt.
Right.
There was so much money.
Yeah, and money corrupts. I get
Yeah.
it. I get
Yeah. So, you know, you got cartels and stuff out there now. But the magnitude of the problem is so dramatic. And then, listen, there's a culture war going on right now, right? We've got people on the right that want these immigrants pushed back. You know, we can say we don't want them pushed back. We want something more humane. But if you understand the nature of this, what they're saying is it doesn't matter. Culturally, you may want to push back, but the pushback is creating unintended consequences, which is causing such a significant problem in our own law enforcement agency. Forget what it's doing to the immigrants for a
Right.
second. Look what it's doing to the largest law enforcement agency in the country. It's crippling.
Bad.
It's corrupt. It's degrading. And you know, that's us. That's on us.
Yeah.
So
it
anyways,
is.
I'm just saying.
It is.
So that wraps up another episode of This Is Your Life. Oh no, I'm sorry. Ken Gober's Law and
I
Disorder.
just want to show everybody my T-shirt. I had the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute on there. I went to the museum when I went through Birmingham. I got to go to the church that's right across the street where Martin Luther King met for the Children's March. And then the museum's right across the street of the Civil Rights Museum. It's awesome. Southern poverty law is all involved in that. It was great. Loved it.
And I've told you how
I know.
relationship- Yeah.
I know.
So sadly,
Well, hopefully things are cleaning up there.
we hope, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Are we going bye-bye? Are you already closing
Well, I'm
out?
trying to figure out how this works. I changed pages. So
Okay.
no, I mean we wouldn't leave without telling people they could go to the Buddhist temple.
You guys need to go to the Buddhist. And y'all, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what religion you are. It doesn't matter. It is the most fascinating, incredibly beautiful place. They've got koi ponds. They've got this garden. They've got this temple. Looks like it's been picked up out of Thailand and put down in Dallas. It is the most magnificent thing. It really, truly is.
And they have only
Mm-hmm.
one American meditation instructor,
And that's you.
and that's me.
Yeah. So Ken Goldberg does the meditation at the Buddhist Center. Everyone goes. It's crazy. It's crowded and
So
fun. and
after watching this podcast, for instance, you would think he doesn't teach meditation.
yeah, he does.
Yeah, but he does.
Well, remember, he's a
Just
former
like
monk. He's
you
a
may-
former Buddhist monk. So,
Just like you may not think that AJ, after you watch the way she behaves, is a yoga instructor. You may think.
I published Dallas Yoga Magazine,
And in November, she'll have the
Cosmic
her-
Yogi Festival.
her Cosmic Yogi Festival, and I anticipate I will participate.
Yes, he will.
Now, so and then if you got a home you need flipped, This is the flipper.
Yeah.
If you need a lawyer, I'm the lawyer.
Yes.
Now, we haven't worked this out logistically. I'm blowing out of town.
Yeah, I
Saturday.
know. I
I'm gonna go
know.
hike in Montana in the Bitterroot Valley.
Well, we're waiting because Ken Mother's really sick. So we're waiting
That's
to see
true.
what happens.
I may
with
be in
Ken's mother.
Chicago by
His
Saturday.
101-year-old poor mother was having surgery today because she broke her femur when she also needs heart surgery. The poor blessed little thing. Oh.
You know, it's hard to be 101. I mean, even if you're
She was doing good pretty much before she broke her leg.
well, even if no,
She was gonna have
doing
heart
good
surgery.
until December when she got pneumonia.
Well, I know, but she was going to have heart surgery.
She's
and
very
everything was okay.
engaging. You know, she was completely with it.
She doesn't look 101. I mean, seriously.
Well, when she does until she puts makeup on.
She looks.
She's good with makeup. My
Well,
mom
all
is-
women are good with makeup, okay?
My mom can
You'd
wipe-
look better with makeup
my
too,
mom
sir.
can wipe 20 years off her face with some makeup.
We can make 20 years off your face with some makeup
Well,
too,
please,
honey.
then next time,
Okay.
let's do that. Okay, so yeah, she's in some peril. but
Bad.
The last I heard was
At least she's
go
in-
ahead, do the trip, come back, come to Chicago and spend
Are
some
you going to
time.
be able to get like phone calls and stuff where you're going?
I have to.
Oh, yeah,
I
I
have
know.
to figure something out. I have to be able to get calls next week. And then I'm come here and I get the van and I go to Chicago. So
Okay.
I think that means goodbye, my
I don't know what that dragon
something
means.
dragon.
I don't know.
Dragon it means. That's
Ciao. That means ciao.
dragon. Ciao means bye.
I know.
Good night, dragon. Something like that, right? Okay.
All righty.
So
So, well, we won't be here next week.
we might.
We might. We don't
some-
know
We
because
don't know what we're doing.
because
Yeah.
we're
But we hope that
hanging
you
in there.
care enough
to
about
check
us.
to see if we're here.
That's where I was
There
going.
you go.
It's not whether we're going to be or not. It's do you care enough about us? Do you love the synergy? Do you love the symbiotic relationship that
They're
you
like,
know,
what relationship needs
one
to?
of us has to be the parasite? And for a while, I thought it's AJ because it's Ken Goldberg's lawn disorder. But then I took another look at it. I was meditating, and I'm like, I'm a fungus if ever there was one.
Where did you come up with that crap?
Just saying. All right, 706.
You can also see us on law-disorder.com
Yeah,
and go to YouTube for Ken Goldberg's Law and Disorder. And you can see this episode if you didn't see the whole thing and past episodes, all that good stuff. So, yeah.
Tammy says they'll be checking in on us. Oh, by the way, the Sun Yoga Center shout out because that's where
Yes.
we did the
Sun
thing.
Yoga.
Sun Yoga Center
It's in
Richardson.
Richardson.
I know a lot of you people into yoga.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm not, but I go there for the drum thing.
But now
So if
you're
you-
going to yoga.
Yeah, once a week.
Going to my yoga once a
Ah.
week.
If you look at my Facebook page, I had a picture of look at how fast my hands look on your.
People watching this, I swear, gonna think I swear to God, we're not. We're sober. We've
Look
been
at-
sober for
It's like
decades.
trails.
No drugs, no decades sober.
Remember when you did like hallucinogens and it was like trails?
I remember my face hurting from mushrooms.
Oh, look, even on my screen. it looks
Okay,
a
we
little-
gotta go.
looks a little
Okay.
psychedelic.
Bye, y'all. Tune back in every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Love y'all.
Oh, do we have to go now?
Yes, we gotta go now.
like- I
I'm
like-
going.
Like, look at that. That is so.
Oh my God, get off,
I gotta-
please.
I need my hands to stop.
Oh my God. Help me, Lord. Help me,
Oh.
Lord.
Bye.
No, my God. Ending
Oh,
live
gosh.
video.
Done.
We're still on
But
this
I'm still
one.
live at two other
Yes.
places.
Oh my God. I'm trying to get. Stop it. I think we're still on YouTube.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we are. How do
Yep.
we get end stream? Oh my God.
I just watch my hands.
Bye.